What should people come to you about when they talk about later life planning? Are there any sort of flags that you think that people would think, oh yeah, I need to go get some advice now?
I think there's different parts in your life that you need to think about planning. So when we talk about later life, I think a lot of people think about the elderly, care homes, planning for that care home, planning for if they pass away, planning for if they lose capacity. But there's different times in your life throughout that you should be doing it. So first one is probably when you have an asset, straight away. As soon as you buy a property or you have significant savings, investments, start by making that, making a will and start by making that plan. Powers of attorney, really, really important. I made my own when I was quite young. I know in the future I might change that if one day I want my children to be attorneys, if they're sensible. I have 3 boys, who knows? But I know I can change that in the future. But if something happens to me or my capacity, I'm planning for then. Once I had children, as I said before, I made that will, or made changes to the will, thought about guardianship. And then as your assets change, because there's different ways of owning assets as well. You might own one with your partner or your spouse as joint tenants, which passes direct by survivorship, a bit like a joint bank account, but you might have accounts in your sole name and you want to make sure that they pass in the right way. So there's different points. I do find most of my clients are of a certain age, a certain generation, because it focuses their mind more, and they will often update their will more and more often. But I do say to the younger generations as well, you really need to think about it and think about it at different points in your life as your assets change or your circumstances change.
I'm guilty of it, so I know updating my will is something I need to look at doing actually, and I might speak to you after today.
Okay.
But I'm the same. So when we had our first child, I thought, oh, I need a will. I need to start planning for the future. And actually, I don't know if I've updated it when my second one's come along.
We need to look at that, yeah. John. Your poor second child.
Lawyers are terrible at following their own advice, though, aren't they? But you're right, and it's not just actually when you have that first property purchase or that first child born. It's that continued maintenance and upkeep and making sure that as your circumstances change, well, actually, I need to renew and I need to review my circumstances and the documentation in place.
Yeah, I deal with beneficiaries often at that point, so they've inherited from, say, a parent or a family member or someone they've known, and they've received quite a large sum, and at that point their assets have changed, and again it's focused their minds because they've seen what's happened, their loved one's passed away, and they'll make a will at that point as well.
So we're at an age now when a lot of our friends want to have conversations with our parents about later life care and will planning, and that can be really hard. Have you got any tips or advice that you can give to people when they're trying to have those difficult conversations with parents or loved ones?
First of all, be open and honest, because it's the children or the family members that are going to be left behind with the difficult situation. If they haven't made a will or haven't made a power of attorney, it's them that's going to be left behind with it. I do find that clients, when especially of a certain generation, they feel like they're giving something away and the control away when they're making these documents, and they say that, oh, I don't really want to do it again, I don't want to talk about it. But it is just something that the children or the loved ones should just raise. And again, I say it so many times, but once they've done it, they feel so much better. So just raise it, be open and honest, and just say, these examples I've given of what we call the intestacy rules and things, they're enough to realise if I don't make a will, or I don't put plans in place, or I don't receive tax advice when I need the tax advice at the right time, or estate planning, then it's the other family members that are going to be left behind with the mess, really. So I just think be really open and honest, have that conversation, it's really hard, but try to take the emotion out of it. It's legal, it's a document, there's lots of emotion behind it, and talk about your wishes as well, but make sure that, you just talk about it openly. I do say to clients, we don't want the only time all families are together are over Christmas. We don't want to talk about it over Christmas. So use it as another time to get together. Say, let's get together as a family. We'll do something nice afterwards, but let's have a quick conversation about mum and dad, what's happening, have you made your will, have you updated it? Is there anything else we need to talk about? What's going to happen when you pass away? Who do we need to go to? Who's your solicitor? Where's your will held? Have those conversations.
And then we'll get a takeaway when we finish as a treat.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, totally.